أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير أنبياء الله وسيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين الغر الميامين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين مهدي هذه الأمة وخاتم الأئمة الحجة ابن الحسن العسكري روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
My condolences first of all goes to our present Imam صاحب العصر والزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
For the martyrdom of his beloved father Al-Imam Aba Muhammad Al-Hassan ibn Ali Al-Askari. One of the things that is most notable for a lot of Shia about Imam Al-Askari salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh, that why his name is his title is Askari instead of like Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, Amir al-Mu'mineen Asadullah al-Ghalib, Mawla al-Muwahhideen, all these titles. Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, the chosen one. Imam al-Hussein al-Shaheed al-Sibt. Imam al-Sajjad Zain al-Abideen. Imam al-Baqir, Baqir ilm al-Awwalin wal-Akhirin. Imam al-Sadiq, Sadiq al-Qawli wal-Wa'ad. Al-Imam al-Kadhim, Kadhim al-Ghayz. Al-Imam al-Rida, al-Radi bil-Qada'i wal-Qadar. Al-Imam al-Jawad, al-Sakhi. Al-Imam al-Hadi, al-Mahdi. But when it comes to Aba Muhammad Al-Hassan, it's Askari. One of the reasons is, I was thinking today, I will mention inshallah later on, but one of the obvious reasons is that Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi was forcibly moved with his father, Imam Al-Hadi, from his birthplace Medina to Samarra, to a military base that it's later on became the capital of Abbasi. Mu'tasim al-Abbasi, he moved the capital. It was something common that the Khulafa did. They moved the capitals. They moved it once to Baghdad, it was in Kufa, and in Syria and different places, in Damascus, in not Deir ez-Zor, Halab, in different places it moved. Sorry, Al-Riqqah, not Halab. So I'm not going to talk about why he moved it, but he had this big army of Turks. And someone probably going to wonder, why did he needed an army of Turks? You know, every empire, if you notice, that when they expand, they need more soldiers and more loyal soldiers. Like, they start hiring mercenaries. You know, you see that in the American army, you see that in the British army. Still, to this date, they see that in the Saudi army. They start hiring mercenaries. The mercenaries, a lot of them, they don't have morale. They're there just for what? For money. So he started bringing them because the distrust they had in the Arabs and the Muslim. Of course, they converted the Turks. They weren't Muslim first, but they converted to Islam. Istanbul wasn't. Istanbul at first was Constantinia, I think, yeah. So they changed it. They changed the people. Of course, they became their goons. And they gave them so much power that later on they had a big problem with them, which was they put the commanders of that army. You don't give the command of the army to mercenaries. They're gonna take control of the government, and that's what happened. They took control of the government. They killed Mutawakkil Abbasi, alayhi la'anullah, him and his minister Fath ibn Khaqan. They killed them while they were drinking wine and listening to music. So their blood and flesh mixed with wine. And you know, a lot of some of the Muslim, they glorify Mutawakkil Abbasi because of what he did to Zuwar of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. And he was, you know, if you go to his biography on Wikipedia and Wikishia, in any you go to his biography, if you notice his religion, they will tell you that his religion is Islam Sunni Nasibi. He was a Nasibi. He was against Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayh. And what the definition of Nasibi is to say that Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayh is fasiq. That's what they say still to the date, but now it's more vast, is whoever is against Ahlulbayt in general salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi ajma'in. So they moved Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi for several reasons. One of the reasons is to keep a closer eye on him. But, you know, they were afraid of what Imam might do. Like what Abu Saraya did with Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, ibn al-Imam al-Kadhim salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He took, as I previously probably mentioned here, he took a vast majority, probably half of the Abbasi's Khalifa was under his control for a period of time. So they were afraid that all these revolutions were going on around the Muslim countries, let's say. You know, while Imam was in Samarra, there was a revolution of slaves going on in Basra, which took over Basra and took over like half of Iran, Ahwaz and Khuzestan, and all these places. And there were a few other revolutions at that same time. So they were afraid that they might use the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi as the master of the slave. His name was Ali ibn Muhammad, I think, did that. He said that I am the son of Imam al-Hadi and a brother of Imam Al-Askari, Imam Hassan salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. And he took advantage of people loving Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. One other reason is the Shia became very strong during that. I mean, start moving, start organize, have more organized, became more organized. They were in not just in Iran, specifically in Qom, but in South Iraq and in Northern Africa. They were spread all over. So they were very afraid that this might trigger a problem for them in the future. Well, like what it did with Abu Saraya and with Muhammad ibn Ibrahim ibn al-Imam Musa al-Kadhim salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. So for that reason too, they brought Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi to the military base of Surra Marra'a. Surra Marra'a, it's comprised with from three words. Surra Marra'a, it's a pleasant for who sees that place. It's like then became Samarra, like Karbala. Karbala is Karbun wa Bala. Anyway, so that's another reason. One of the reasons too is like the reason Fir'aun alayhi la'anullah had with what he did with Israelites. He started what? Killing their babies. For what? For some of the magicians, some of the people who foretell, as they put it, they foretold that in the future someone from the Israelite will come and will destroy your government. So, for him, a person who says that I am your God, he shouldn't be afraid of that. But it's a possibility, was for him, right? It was a possibility that this might happen. So I will what? Stand against it and prevent it from happening. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in a different way, in a mysterious way. So it's ironic, very. I mean, if you take a closer look to that story, that, okay, the mother of Musa gave birth to him, put him in a box, drop him in the Nile, for crying out loud. If you go on Google, go on internet and see the Nile now, yet alone back then, now there's a lot of dams been built on the Nile. It's like a sea, it's very huge. And besides, it's very dangerous. There's crocodiles still, it's known that Nile crocodiles. It's a very dangerous place. Anyway, to drop him there, and for Fir'aun to notice that and pick him up and put him in his lap while Musa is playing with his beard and pulling out his beard from his roots, and what he did to pull out his government from its root later on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in a mysterious way. So they know that story, the shayateen, they tell each other, they take lessons from each other, right? So they knew about Imam al-Hujjah gonna be born. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And they take note of that okay, this will happen. Alaykum as-salam. And we should prevent it from happening. But like with Musa, ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi afdal salatu wassalam. I think Musa, as a story for us, was for us to, as a taste, that he removed Fir'aun and the tyrants from their position and established a government. Imam al-Hujjah ajallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif will do the same, but on the world scale, on the whole world. So they are more afraid of that. They are much more afraid that this will happen. The shayateen, all in all, they have their goons, and they are afraid that will happen. So they were trying to prevent that from happening. So Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, imagine Imam al-Askari, that it's one of the Imams that we know so little about. Because of that reason, that, between us and Imam al-Hassan al-Askari is not as much as between us and Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. And we know more about Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi than we know about Imam Hassan al-Askari, right? Why is that? It's logically we should know about someone who is closer to our time, but no, it's the other way around, because he was in prison, and while he was in that military base, he also would be imprisoned in the same city. Several times, three Khalifa been changed: Mu'taz, Muhtadi, and Mu'tamid al-Abbasi, alayhim la'anullah. That, of course, they didn't, as I said, they didn't have much control over the government, but still they hated the Imam. They didn't have much control. That even there's this poet says this about their how they governing is khalifatun fi qafasin bayn wasif wa bugha يقول ما قال له كما تقول الببغاء. That they are in like a cage, and they are listening to someone by the name of Salih ibn Wasif, and someone, a military commander, a Turkish commander by the name of Bugha. He just is like a parrot, repeats what they telling him to do. So they killed also the Mu'taz, and they killed Muhtadi they humiliated him. He was running in the city of Samarra and calling out for people to help him. I'm your Amir al-Mu'mineen, he was saying, shouting, come and help me, come defend me. And no one did. And they killed him and replaced him with Mu'tamad al-Abbasi alayhi la'anullah. So they were keeping a closer eye on the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, so that Imam al-Hujjah ajallah ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif, but subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted for our Imam, Sahib al-Asr wa zaman, to be Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. That's even more a miracle than who? Than Musa. The mother of Musa, you know, was in Egypt. It's a vast country, right? She can go wherever she wants, but they were confined in one place, in one house arrest. They cannot go out but with the permission of the Khalifa and with the guards surrounding them. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted for our Imam, Sahib al-Asr wa zaman, to be born under their noses, without them even noticing. You know, Imam Sahib al-Asr wa zaman, and one of the people came to, it was very hard for the Shia to get in contact with their Imam, because, you know, it's a military base, and if you are not Alawi and you're not related to Imam, what do you want? What do you want to talk about? Some of them were risking it and coming, but still they were imprisoned and tortured and all that. You know, one beautiful story that Imam Askari was preparing people for Imam al-Mahdi salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. One beautiful story is that the governor of Samarra, he was going on patrol during the night, you know, seeing the shops. So he saw one person he suspected that is wanting to rob a place of money exchange, sayrafa as they put it in Arabic. So he got hold of him, and he said that I usually lash everyone that I take 500 times. It's like a standard for me. You know, got nothing to do with Islam, whatever. It's a standard. If I suspect someone and I get him. So he starts shouting. He starts shouting that I am the Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. I am the Shia, he said, of our Imam Sahib al-Asr. Abul Hujjah, sorry, Abul Hujjah, that, you know, Shia they knew that the Imam al-Hujjah is coming, and his father was Imam al-Hassan salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. So he took him to the Imam salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, and he said, he claiming to be a Shia of you. Imam looked at him, to the governor, he said, he lied. Did he? Yes, he lied. Okay. What will you do? Standard 500 lashes. He put him on the ground. He said, lash him, give a stick to two people, lash him 500 times on his bottom. So they start hitting the ground. They start hitting the ground. And the governor were shouting at them, what are you doing? Why are you not hitting him? They said, we are hitting him. They were imagining that they're hitting him. He said, no, you're not. He said, okay, again, do it again. They start now, then they start hitting each other. So he said, what are you doing? You're hitting each other. He said, no, we are hitting him. He said, okay, four more men, 4 more goons he brought. So 6 in total, hit him. So they start hitting, but hitting what? The governor. This governor starts shouting, going, "You hitting me?" Said, "No, we're not." Said, "Okay, you're not. Why this blood coming out of my head and nose? You know, I'm all." Said, "See, this is a miracle." He went to Imam. He said, "Why didn't you said that he's not your Shia?" He said, "Yes, I did. He's not my Shia." He said, "Whose Shia is he then? Is he a Shia of Iblis? Because what we saw was a miracle." He said, "Hold on a second. It wasn't a miracle of him. It was a miracle of us." He said, "How come?" He said, "When that prophet converted those people to apes, was it their miracle or his miracle? Or when Isa ibn Maryam ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi afdal salatu wa salam raised the dead, was the miracle of the deceased or the miracle of Isa ibn Maryam? It was a miracle of us." But he said, "You said he's not your Shia." I said, "Yes, he's not our Shia. He's our Muhib al-Muwali. He's our lover. He loves us, and because of that, he loves Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi." So he said to bring him, I want to talk to him. He told him, "You know, you didn't know what Shia means, but I will tell you what Shia means. Ya Abdullah, O servant of Allah, I will tell you what Shia is." He started mentioning to him what Shia means, what Shia is supposed to be. You know, it's a lengthy hadith, but one of the things is, I just gonna go through this very quickly. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. وشيعة علي عليه السلام هم الذين لا يبالون في سبيل الله أوقع الموت عليهم أو وقعوا على الموت. On the way of Allah, they do not care that they go toward death or the death comes to them. وهم الذين لا يراهم الله حيث نهاهم ولا يفقدهم من حيث أمرهم. And those are the people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't see them in the places that He forbid them from going, and do not miss them in a place that He told them to go. So, you know, sometimes, you see, there are places for us not to even go, you know, there, especially in the Western countries. Some people will invite you to some of the parties, some of the places that you're gonna think to yourself, does Allah like me to be here? I mean, think to yourself, does Allah like to see me here or not? Does Imam Sahib al-Asr wa al-Zaman ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif like me to see me here? Or I'm going to be ashamed if I see, you know, sometimes people will be ashamed from some others to, go to a places and be, looking around to see no one sees them. And all of a sudden they get exposed and they become very ashamed. So aren't you supposed to think first? To be ashamed of yourself, to be ashamed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be ashamed of Sahib al-Asr wa al-Zaman, ajjallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. Go to a place that you know Sahib al-Asr wa al-Zaman will be happy to see you there, will be proud of seeing you there. Which is better for you to go towards Imam Hussein salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi shrine, or to go to some, place that is, you might do sin. So wait this and see which places you spend your times. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
I noticed when I was reading about Imam Al-Hassan salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, if you go to, there are several books, of course, been written. One of them is Al-Imam Al-Hassan Al-Askari, from من المهدي إلى اللحد, The author is Sayyid Muhammad al-Qazwini. He has this books starting with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam until the Imam al-Mahdi ajalullah ta'ala, until the Imam al-Askari ajalullah, Imam al-Askari salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. One other is, if you, after a very short series probably, is my father's book. It's Imam al-Hassan al-Askari Qudwa wa Uswa. It's not a big book, so you can read it through it maybe in just 2 hours. So inshallah, everyone can at least go and read about the father of our Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, just for the sole reason of making him happy, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. And of course, this will help you in this life and hereafter. So, Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, if you see his life, it was filled with miracles. The most noticeable one is when he foretold about the future of people. When he foretold the future and said what people might even have in their mind and think. Someone was standing in the road waiting for the Imam salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, and when Imam was passing him, Imam told him just to be quiet. You know, one of the Imam's title that he's not very known of, As-Samit, the quiet one. The quiet one. Anyway, so he just did a sign for him to just, be quiet, keep quiet. So they asked him, what you wanted to say? He said that when I see the Imam, I will shout. He was a Shia. I will shout, this is Hujjatullah. You must follow Hujjatullah. But Imam said, you will be killed if you do that. The opposite, one person, Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, was passing, and all of a sudden he took off his hoodie. It's like a cowl they call it. He took it off, qulun suwa in Arabic. He took it off and he wiped his head and smiled at that person. Ashab of Imam said, this person is munafiq. But all of a sudden he said, yes, you are Hujjatullah. They said, why did you do that? Why did you say that? He said, because I thought to myself, if he truly Imam, he will do this when he passes me by. He will take off his qulun suwa and he will look at me. And Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi did that. And he had different ma'ajah salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. One of them is, one person, he asked the Khalifa for money, he didn't give him, so he said, we might as well go to Imam, go to this person. So he was with his son, he told his son, I wish for Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi he wasn't a believer of Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. So he said that I wish that he gives me 500 dirhams. 500 dirhams. I will spend 200 dirhams on a mule, 200 dirhams on my clothing, on my food and clothings, and 100 dirhams on my clothing, and 200 dirhams on wheat. And his son thought to himself, oh, I wish as well for Imam. He didn't say to his father even, I wish for Imam to give me 300 so I can buy a mule with a donkey with 100 and supplies, and to travel to Qazwin and Zanjan and those places, mountains of Iran. So when they wanted to get out, the Imam gave his servant to give them for his father 500 dirhams, for the son 300 dirhams, and told him not to go to Iran, go to the south of Iraq. And he said, I followed that guy after a while and saw him that he went there and became very rich, and he married a woman, but he still was a waqifi. He didn't believe in Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. But Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi are generous. When you ask them, you see, people who are not Muslim even, go and ask Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, Imam al-Rida, al-Imam al-Hussein, Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, Abu al-Fadl Abbas salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, for favor, for their wishes to be granted. And Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Rida, Abu al-Fadl Abbas, Imam al-Hussein, all our Imams, they grant them their wishes. Because they are what? They are generous. The generous person doesn't care that who you are, what you are. You ask him, he gives. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it rains, doesn't just rain on a mosque or just on a church. It rains on everyone. Everyone will benefit. Imam is like that. Everyone benefits from him. So it's like when Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, Ajalullah ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif, will reappear, everyone will benefit from the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. It's not just killing. It's not just war. Even though I had this in my mind, maybe one of the reasons that we call him Al-Hujjat ibn al-Hassan al-Askari, it's a military thing. That even you saw that with Imam al-Askari salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, how beyond the grave he raised an army to come and defend his gravesite. He raised an army. Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi raised an army with 25 million people to come towards him. So Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, when he comes, he will raise an army like no other army. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. May Allah hasten his reappearance, inshallah. Wallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam had very important tasks for the Shia to learn, and is that he was preparing for the occultation of Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman Ajalullah ta'ala Farajah al-Sharif. He was preparing the people. So they will get used to not to be in direct contact with Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Gonna be through a proxy, through other people. There was Imam al-Hadi and Imam, I think, al-Jawad even, and Imam al-Askari salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, and Imam al-Hujja ajallah ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. His first Safir, his first person, so the people contacted Imam through was who? A person by the name of Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri, or as-Samman. He used to sell, his trade was to sell a cooking oil. Simn, a cooking oil. So through that even, he contacted the Imams. He goes to the Imam, okay, this is a trade person with what? With oil. So he wants to sell oil to anyone who buys oil from him, right? But he was trading letters from the Shia and answering the Shia through the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, and through his trade. And Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, in another story, that he gave one of his servants a log for him to go and put in one place. I don't remember the reason that Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi gave him that log. So he was going to take that log. All of a sudden he saw a mule blocking the road. So he said to the owner of that mule, let me pass. He said, just hit him so you can pass. And he hit the mule very hard, and it split open the log. So there was a compartment inside the log with the letters of Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, taking to his Shia devote Shia. And through that, salawatullahi wa salam alayhi was doing his business with the Shia, and through miracles also, when he told them that to be in one place, because there was 5 gods always around Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, and change every week. And I was thinking, why did they change them every week? And one of the reasons is that Salih ibn Wasif, as I told you before, he was of course killed. He was the Muhtadis, I think, goon. So they give him the Imam to torture and to put him in prison. So they put the Imam in prison and came and asked, why, what happened? He said, I mean, I couldn't do anything. He said, why? He said, I put one of the most two corrupt and worst thugs I could ever find. I put two thugs with him. And after a while, I saw these thugs becoming very pious people, pray and fast. And they said, what have you done with him? Said, I mean, ask them. They came and asked them, said, how can we torture or do any harm to a person that fasts during the day and prays during the night? And whenever we looked at him, we shivered. We couldn't see to his eye. His Hujjatullah. You know, when they see, they tremble. They start shaking. So they couldn't face the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. But there was, so they were afraid that Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi will turn them. In another story, someone by the name of Nahrir, he was a servant of Bani al-Abbas. They gave him the Imam, so he put in prison. His wife told him, you know what, who's in your prison? I'm afraid that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do something to you because of this. He said, because you said so, I will throw him in the cage in the pond of lions. So they will kill him. You know, they used to do that. The tyrants used to have lions and like very wild animals, and they keep them hungry for a while and throw a person, a human, for them to eat and take apart. So they throw the Imam. He came back to just, gather the remains. He told Bani al-Abbas, and they liked the idea. So he went and saw that the lions are circling the Imam, bowing down to the Imam, and Imam is praying in the middle of them. Another miracle of Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He was in prison, like usual. So there was a drought at that year. The Mu'tamid al-Abbasi was at the time Mu'tamid. He told the people to go out and pray, do Salat al-Istisqa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have mercy on them and will start raining. They did it for 3 consecutive days. Nothing happened. 4th day, the Christian came, and the leader of them was a monk. So he pointed toward the sky, and the sky filled with clouds and started raining. So the people were, okay, we are Muslim, and we're doing this for 3 days, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't accept our prayers. So they had doubts in Islam. So what happened is Mu'tamid went to Imam that he put in prison. He went to the Imam and asked him, come and help us. Still I'm Khalifatul Muslimin. If there's no Islam, who's I'm gonna rule on? So he brought the Imam out. The Imam told him, okay, I will fix this. He went and told him to bring them back again. Said, well, we fed up we had so much rain, we don't want anymore. Said, still, order the people and order the monks to come out. The people went out, prayed, nothing happened. And he told someone to go and stand beside the monk. And when he raises his hand, there's something between his fingers. Take it. Take it and bring it to me. And the monk, when he raised his hand, this person took something out of his fingers and came. And the Imam said, okay, now you do dua. There were clouds. The clouds start going. The sun came out. Said, what is this? He said, he passed a grave of a prophet. So he found a bone of that prophet. And every time there's some misconception that some people say in some of the lectures that every time you do dua with a bone of prophet. No. Every time a bone of a prophet or a prophet is exposed under the sky, it will rain. That even some friend of mine in Medina said whenever there's a drought in Medina, they open a window on the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, and the sky will fill with clouds and the rain starts pouring.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
If you go back to the hadith even, you see when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam was going, he wasn't prophet back then. I mean, he was a prophet, of course, but he wasn't ordered to do tabligh. So the monks saw what the monks saw. So there's a cloud just on the top of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So the Imam sallallahu wa sallam alayhi was preparing the people for the occultation of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. And he showed some of the people his son, Imam Al-Hujjah, Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif. One of his loyal companions was Ahmad ibn Ishaq. He told the Imam, who's going to be after you? He said, my son. Can I see him? Yes. He went inside and brought a 3 years old. Salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. Allahumma arina tal'at al-rashida. So he brought the Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif out. And this guy had still some doubts in his mind. This is 3 years old. Okay? So he said, can I see a sign? Can he show me some sign? So the Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman starts speaking. And he said, Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, أنا بقية الله في أرضه وأنا المنتقم من أعدائه فلا تطلب أثرا بعد عين يا أحمد بن إسحاق. I am Hujjatullah. I am Baqiyatullah. I am the promise of Allah. I am the person who take revenge with Allah's aid. So don't ask for any more sign. When you see you see the sign, you go for a trace. But when you see itself, you don't ask for a sign anymore. So he believed that Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, yes, he is the person who will come and inshallah will fill this planet with justice. Mu'tamid al-Abbasi came to Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Imam was, when he became Imam, was 22 years old. And the period of his Imam was just 8 years. 20 years old. Very young. Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, he endured a lot of difficulties, one of which is being yatim. Being yatim. Being alone in this world. So, Mu'tamid al-Abbasi came to him and asked him to do dua for me. The Turks are killing everyone. They killed Mutawakkil, they killed Mu'taz, they killed Muhtadi. Just do dua for me. Even the people who hated the Imam, they knew that Imam is Hujjatullah. So he asked the Imam, and Imam is generous. Imam did dua for him. And he ruled for 20 more 3 years old. 20 years more he ruled for the dua of Imam salawatullahi wa salam. I was thinking to myself, why when he killed the Imam, when he poisoned the Imam, something, the Imam didn't take back his dua. When a generous gives something, he doesn't take back. Even when it's his enemy. So the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi was poisoned by the Mu'tamid alayhi la'anallah at the beginning of Rabi al-Awwal. Took 8 days for the poison. The poison was going through Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. One day, Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi had a servant from the Nuba, from Sudan now. He told him to bring me some water. Boil some water with mustaki. There's some plant they put in, and bring it to me. He brought it to the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. But Imam was so weak. He started shivering. He was shaking. Imam tried to drink from that water, but he couldn't. He started shaking, started hitting his lips and his teeth. So he put it down and told him to bring my son. His name was, the servant name was Aqid. Oh, Aqid, go and bring my son. Aqid went inside. Saw a 5 years old standing in the middle of the room praying, and he said, "Oh my master, your father asking for you." So he came, he brought that water to the Imam salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. He gave him a few drops of that water. Imam salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi told him, "Ya Sayyida Ahlulbayt, you are the master of my Ahlulbayt. You are the master of us. Ya Sayyida Ahlulbayt, Anta baqiyatullah fi ardah. You are the baqiyatullah. You are the hujjatullah. Wa ya sahab al-asr wa-zaman." So he said to him that, "Prepare me for salat." He assisted his father salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi for wudu. Imam did his salat, and he prepared himself for Azrael to take his soul. He started saying his goodbye to Sahib al-Asr wa-Zaman. He held him on his chest, start crying, bid him farewell. عظم الله لكم الأجر مدد رجليه وأسبل يديه وعرق جبينه وفاضت روحه إلى السماء. Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi died poisoned. He died, leaving Imam Sahib al-Asr wa-Zaman orphan. They prepared Imam al-Hassan salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Imam Sahib al-Asr wa-Zaman, he went and took hold of his uncle when he was trying to pray on his brother, and he pulled him and he said, "Oh uncle, I am the person who should pray on my master, my Imam." And he prayed on his Imam. But Imam Sahib al-Asr wa-Zaman, you know, who prayed on the body of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi? I will tell you who prayed. The swords prayed on the Imam salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. They said Allahu Akbar when the Imam fell from his horse salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت محمد هي منقلب سينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. May Allah hasten the reappearance of Sahib al-Asr wa-Zaman. May Allah makes us a companion of him and a people who get martyred in his army. We recite this ayah 5 times for the quick recovery of the ill and the sick people, and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us our wishes, and to put this wish in front of every wish that we do is to do dua for Sahib al-Asr wa-Zaman ajalallah ta'ala farajahu al-sharif. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. صلوات.